Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Well, Washington Gun Law gets to do about its 12th video now about the state of Illinois. And the reason we keep doing things on the state of Illinois is because I got to admit, Illinois, when you guys decide to strip citizens of constitutional rights, you guys really do not mess around. And every time that I think the story can't get any worse, every time I think the story can't get any more sinister, well, Illinois just continues to impress over and over and over. And this time, we have some incredibly scary words coming out of none other than Governor J.B. Pritzker. And I think we all need to be aware of it because for many of us in states that are also kicking around ideas similar to Illinois, the type of tyranny that we're seeing out of there could be bleeding into a state near you real soon. So today, let's spend a few very troubling minutes and talk about when your governor brags about using a gun registry to confiscate guns. Okay, so once again, we are talking about the Protect Illinois Communities Act, or what is better known as Illinois' assault weapon ban, which, as you recall, started off as an innocuous piece of insurance legislation somewhere around January 7th of this year, and by January 10th of this year was completely signed into law, fully effective, complete assault weapon ban without any public commentary whatsoever. Of course, the lawsuits have started flying, and as we know, there was a injunction issued out of the Southern District of Illinois that enjoined the enforcement of this law for approximately 5 or 6 days, and that allowed everybody in the state of Illinois to live freer, more like Americans, unless, of course, you're Rob Beavis in the city of Naperville, but that's a whole nother story. You can check out that video right there. So many people who never had a chance to prepare for the implementation of Illinois' assault weapon ban took this opportunity to go out and exercise their otherwise inalienable rights and stock up. Of course, that led to us doing this video right here, which talked about how, hey, the Rami Kraul, the Attorney General of Illinois, as well as Governor Pritzker, were talking about, hey, no, any of you who bought those guns during the injunction, those guns are illegal. Well, as you know, the title of this particular presentation is when a governor brags about using a gun registry to confiscate guns. Now, when you're doing YouTube content, there is really two criticisms that you try to avoid as a creator. Number one, your material sucks, okay? And the second criticism is clickbaiting, okay? And clickbaiting is a big no-no, and I have experienced and been victim of it myself many occasions. Now, just to make sure that you guys don't think I'm clickbaiting you, has Governor Pritzker openly bragged about using the registry requirement under PICA to then use that to confiscate or determine that certain firearms that were purchased when the law was not in effect are illegal? Well, I don't know. Let's just hear from the governor himself.
Well, what the law says is that as of January 1 of 2024, that people will need to fill out the affidavit that they have one of those guns. That's really all it is. There's nobody going after anybody, but that is what the law says. Well, and all I'm suggesting to you is there was a law that was passed. We've got to, the law is fairly clear on the face of it, and so people need to follow that law. The fact that the Attorney General is simply telling people now what the rules are around that law, that should have been fairly evident by the virtue of the law passing. As you know, there are many gun dealers who would like to have something different in the law, but the law that passed bans assault weapons. And I want to be clear to everybody that the purpose of that law is to save lives. And we've seen just in the last 2 weeks that entire families have been killed by assault weapons. It is time to end this madness and to save our families' lives. It is to the freedom of the people of Illinois that we are addressing this law. Their freedom to be at the Highland Park parade without getting shot and killed.
Okay. There you have it. Okay, now listen, one of the things that is rarely discussed about PICA is this. In addition to outlawing the sale of all of these weapons, any weapon which was grandfathered in, that is, they were owned by an Illinois resident prior to the enactment of the law, requires that that resident file a declaration under penalty of perjury by January 1st of 2024 which states that they possess that firearm prior to the enactment of PICA, which I believe was January 10th of 2023. Or put in other words, every owner of one of these firearms needs to register that firearm with the state of Illinois. Now, that declaration, which of course needs to be signed under penalty of perjury, the attestant needs to be able to state, honestly, that that firearm was owned by them and in their possession prior to January 10th of 2023. The problem is for all the folks in Illinois who went out a week and a half ago and actually enjoyed their Second Amendment rights, they will not be able to sign that declaration, honestly, under penalty of perjury, stating that they had that firearm in their possession prior to the enactment of the law. Obviously, we are not coaching anybody, nor are we advising anybody to lie on that declaration, and that will just create more problems. But let us also remember that there is a 4473 somewhere which evidences which date that firearm came into your possession. So yes, Illinois, you have a governor who basically says, hey, listen, the law is the law. They have to register these firearms. Since they will not be able to properly register these firearms are illegal, and they will either need to be turned in, surrendered, or destroyed. Things are going to get very interesting come late this year in Illinois if this law is still in effect. Now, as we know, both Illinois' assault weapon ban as well as the city of Naperville city ordinance are ricocheting around in the appellate courts. And yes, there is talk about Justice Comey Barrett jumping in, but I believe that there's been a little over speculation by some, and we'll be doing another video on that. Listen, you may have more questions about what's going on in Illinois or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights. If you guys do, you should know how to contact Washington Gun Law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information is right there in the description box. In the meantime, I do want all of you to remember that part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.